Welcome to Chasing Curiosity TV. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Tonight we're chasing the truth through the shadows of power, greed, and betrayal in the Philippines. This is a nation of resilient people, but its promise has been stolen by those meant to protect it. We're talking about corruption so vast, public funds become private fortunes, hospitals without medicine, schools without books, futures stolen. We'll break down 10 of the most shocking cases, the alleged masterminds, and the jaw-dropping sums involved. This isn't just about pointing fingers, it's about understanding how corruption thrives and its devastating human cost. How does this keep happening? And what does it mean for everyday Filipinos? Let's chase this story together and demand answers because the truth matters. First up, Bong Revilla, a movie hero turned senator, now infamous for the Priority Development Assistance Fund, or PDAF scam. PDAF was meant for development projects, but prosecutors alleged Revilla funneled over 224 million pesos into fake NGOs set up by Janet Lim Napoles. Whistleblowers described cash delivered in bags to Revilla's home, an audacious scheme straight out of a film. Despite damning evidence, Revilla was acquitted of plunder in 2018, though ordered to return over 124 million pesos. The verdict shocked the nation, raising questions about justice and accountability. Revilla claimed innocence, blaming forged signatures and political persecution. Yet the image stuck, a beloved actor at the center of a scandal that siphoned millions from the poor. He was re-elected to the Senate, a testament to the complexities of Philippine politics. In the end, his story highlights how accountability can be elusive, even in the face of overwhelming evidence. The PDF scandal remains a symbol of how public trust is betrayed, and Revilla's return to power, proof that in the Philippines, scandal doesn't always end a political career. Joseph Arap Estrada, actor, president, and the face of a presidency brought down by corruption. Elected on a promise to help the poor, his term ended in a people power revolt over allegations of plunder. Prosecutors accused Estrada of amassing illegal wealth through kickbacks from gambling syndicates and embezzling state funds. In 2007, he became the first former president convicted of plunder, sentenced to life, and ordered to forfeit hundreds of millions. But just weeks later he was pardoned by his successor Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. The pardon restored his rights and Estrada returned to politics, running for president again and later becoming mayor of Manila. His conviction didn't end his career, instead it exposed a culture where even the highest crimes don't bar a comeback. Estrada's story is a case study in impunity and the complex relationship between voters and their leaders. It shows that in the Philippines, even a landmark conviction can be just another chapter in a political saga. The message, power protects its own, and justice is often negotiable. For many, Estrada's journey is a symbol of hope betrayed and accountability denied. The cycle continues with the same faces returning to power, and the people still waiting for real change. Jose Miguel Mike Arroyo, husband of President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, was a constant presence in the era's biggest scandals. The ZTE-NBN deal, a $329 million broadband contract, exploded when whistleblowers alleged massive kickbacks, with Mike Arroyo named as a key beneficiary. The scandal forced the project's cancellation and became a symbol of high-level greed. Arroyo's name also surfaced in the fertilizer fund scam and the Euro General scandal, all pointing to a web of influence and alleged corruption. He denied all wrongdoing, claiming political harassment, and was never convicted. Yet his tenure as first gentleman is inseparable from the perception of a government run on power, access, and family ties. For many, he embodied the backroom deals and shadowy influence that defined an era. The scandals left a legacy of distrust that still lingers. Fidel V. Ramos is remembered for economic reforms and privatization, but also for allegations of cronyism and mismanagement. His administration sold off state assets, airlines, utilities, oil companies, promising modernization. Critics argue these deals were rushed, undervalued, and favored well-connected tycoons. The sale of Fort Bonifacio and the Centennial Expo project became symbols of questionable contracts and wasted public funds. Ramos defended his policies as necessary reforms, but the legacy is mixed. Economic gains came with persistent doubts about who truly benefited. The line between reform and cronyism blurred, leaving ordinary Filipinos skeptical. Ramos's era shows how even well-intentioned policies can be tainted by a lack of transparency. The question remains, who really profited from the promise of progress? Andal Ampatuan Jr., mayor, warlord, and the face of impunity in Maguindanao. The 2009 Maguindanao massacre exposed the deadly mix of political power and corruption. 58 people, including journalists, slaughtered to protect a dynasty. The Ampatuans ruled with private armies, siphoned billions in public funds, and flaunted their wealth in one of the country's poorest provinces. The massacre was a message: challenge us, and pay with your life. After a decade-long trial, Ampatuan Jr. and his brothers were convicted and sentenced to life. It was a rare victory for justice, but the damage was done. Their story is a chilling reminder of what happens when corruption fuses with violence in political dynasties. The cost: lives lost, trust shattered. The Ampatuans believed they were untouchable until they weren't, but the scars remain, a warning of unchecked power. Janet Lim Napoles, businesswoman turned alleged mastermind of the pork barrel scam. She created a network of fake NGOs, siphoning off an estimated 10 billion pesos in public funds with the help of lawmakers. Whistleblowers described bags of cash delivered to politicians, exposing a breathtaking scale of theft. The scandal implicated senators, congressmen, and confirmed what many suspected: taxes meant for development were systematically stolen. Napoles was convicted of plunder in one case, with more charges pending. Her daughter's lavish lifestyle became a symbol of the scandal's excess. The pork barrel scam showed how private individuals and officials can defraud a nation together. Napoles' story is a stark lesson in systemic greed. The fallout still shapes the fight against corruption today. Gloria Macapagal Arroyo's presidency was defined by scandal, none bigger than Hello Garci. Leaked audio revealed her allegedly instructing an election official to rig the 2004 vote count. Arroyo apologized for a lapse in judgment, but denied rigging the election, fueling a permanent shadow over her legitimacy. Her administration was also rocked by the ZTE-NBN and fertilizer fund scandals, and she was later arrested for alleged misuse of charity funds. After nearly 5 years under hospital arrest, the Supreme Court dismissed her plunder case for lack of evidence. Arroyo made a political comeback as Speaker of the House, exemplifying political survival. Her story highlights the judiciary's role in accountability, and its limits. Scandal didn't end her career, it became part of her legacy. For many, Arroyo's journey is a lesson in how power can outlast controversy. The cycle of scandal and survival continues. Paulo Duterte, son of President Rodrigo Duterte, found himself accused of links to a massive drug smuggling operation. Senate hearings tied him to the Davao Group, a syndicate allegedly protected by political connections. A senator even claimed Paulo was part of a Chinese triad, challenging him to reveal a dragon tattoo as proof. He refused, fueling speculation. Paulo and his allies dismissed the allegations as baseless political attacks, and no charges were filed. Still, the accusation stuck, raising questions about hypocrisy and dynastic power. Paulo was later elected congressman, continuing the Duterte dynasty. The controversy remains a stain on his public life. The lesson in Philippine politics: allegations rarely end a career, they just become part of the story. Martin Romualdez, current speaker and cousin to President Marcos Jr., stands accused of manipulating the national budget for political gain. In 2023, revelations of massive confidential funds for the vice president and speaker's offices sparked outrage. Watchdogs alleged pork barrel insertions, with Romualdez's allies receiving huge allocations while critics were sidelined. A former spokesperson accused him of controlling a personal pork barrel fund worth 1.8 billion pesos. Romualdez denies all allegations, calling them fake news. The controversy reignited debate over pork barrel politics and accountability. Decades after the Napoles scandal, discretionary funds remain at the heart of corruption. The fight over the power of the purse is far from over. 10 stories, one pattern: power, greed, and a lack of accountability rot the system from within. The faces change, but the game stays the same, and the Filipino people pay the price. Impunity, recycled officials, endless legal battles, cynicism grows, but we can't give up. We must keep asking hard questions and demanding answers. What do you think? Are these isolated cases or symptoms of a deeper sickness? Let's talk in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives. The fight for transparency and justice isn't over. Let's keep the pressure on, because the truth matters.